we're back again with His Royal Highness Ukhabu. Ushilo-ke nawathi hayi-ke abokhabo laba abafani. Ngizocela ungichazele kancane ngoba manje ngiyayifuna ukuyi-understanda lento. But this is going to go with the fact that certain people who are outside our cultures created cultures for us. And today we are perpetuating said cultures with the name yokuthi they are our cultures. Dress code, ceremonies, rituals, and things that were not really ours. And you find ukuthi when you ask deeper ukuthi why isenziwa lento, nobody can answer why. But the answer is right there. Ukuthi no, this is a foreign concept. A foreign concept enforced on us. I'm forced today to identify as umXhosa because ndiyathetha. When I trace myself, I connect with an individual named umXhosa. Therefore, I can call myself umXhosa. There are people kwaXhosa now. Amampondo. Amampondomise. Amaxesibe. Amagqunuqhwebe. Amamfingu. Amabhaca. And they are all classified Xhosa. Because somebody said this is the Xhosa conglomerate. KwaZulu. History will tell you Zulu is a family. Zulu is a family. Ndlovu is a family. Mkhize is a family. And. But today everybody is known as AmaZulu. And when you trace when that happened, there is an element of that which is foreign that imposed its concept on these said people. With the same be said with the Tswana conglomerate, or what we know as the Sotho conglomerate, because there's the northern Sotho, southern Sotho, and then the western Sotho. Take me around that.
Akere eqaleni uthe ndiyathetha.
Okay.
So now awuri ndiyathetha. Kutlwana kyareta.
Okay.
Right, it's the same thing.
Okay.
To recite uhubua. Right, and then I'm in a room not very long ago. Motho mongwe ke Movenda. O mongwe ke Moshona. O mongwe ke Mosotho. O mongwe ke Motswana. And then all of them are convinced that they're different. And Kerekobone, okay. What do you, in your language, all of you, how ore I see omibide ke mutlotsi. Wena wa reng? Kyabona.
Nabona.
Yeah, kyabona. So we say the same thing. So this idea that khonale mutlotsa, Motswana, or whatever, I want to assume that these are recent arrivals, these identities, because somewhere in our journeys we spoke one language, and this idea of bona is a clear guide, because if at some point our languages show a pattern, it means that there was something common that was happening. And this is what Aikweyama, I think, is trying to look at when he's trying to, I think, write a different orthography that has to do with Bantu, what he calls Bantu languages. And I think these are some of the things that we need to look at, how the Berlin Conference even robbed us of this understanding. That is why how bona moshona, how gore se shona, le se tswana, dia tswana. Why bona? So, but dilo tse di obvious, even that's what it's isimoto o tshwarwa ka tengwane. So if we followed, we trace our languages, re ka thola ile gore re batho ba iwane.
I once heard something. I have a friend of mine, Usiapula Ramalep. And we had a discussion one time with the secrets of our culture are hidden in our languages.
Mm-hmm.
To the point that we broke down these languages and realized ukuthi, you mentioned ukubona, ubona. Almost all of us use the same term. Different pronunciations, different sound variations, but the structure of the word is the same. Lilihlo, iliso. Ilihlo, liihlo. Now, umlomo.
Mulomo.
Mulomo. Ikhala. Nko. Khala. Nko. Now, there are many other words. We won't go into the etymology of them all, but there is somewhere underlying a unity of expression, especially tsebe, dlebe, the primary organs of interaction with the world, our ears, our eyes, our nose, our mouth, which are the things that I can use to express what's in me to the next person, and to see what the next person is expressing to me. Because now, if you look at how our structure is built, it's built in a funny way. And essentially, this is the science that we used to study. You've got 2 ears, you've got 2 eyes, and they are all above the nose. And only 1 mouth. 2 ears, 2 eyes, all above the nose, and only 1 mouth. Ears, you listen, you hear things that come outside, from outside, whether it's your lessons, your instructions, your discipline, into ekukhulisayo uyizwa ngamadlebe kaditsebe. Knowledge comes through the ears. Your eyes see and record. And both what you hear and see is recorded in the upper part of the head, the brain. What you smell helps you decide, is it good or is it bad? Maknuga gabi angeni, maknuga kahle nyangena. If it smells good, it's pleasant. If it does not smell good, it's not pleasant. It helps us decide. And then the mouth is the only thing that takes from inside out. Because now we know what you are thinking, we know what you are feeling, we know what type of person you are. Umuntu simbamba ngodweni. This is why umuntu khuluma manga bathi unolwimi lo. Ulwimi lakhe is always moving. So structurally, what we receive is placed above what we express. I want to take it to art.
Interesting.
As an artist, and if possible, I'd like to throw this at you. If possible, we have maybe a 4-stanza improv poem to express the sentiment of what we are talking about. Whether it's in our native tongue or in English, but this is in an attempt to express or to show how language has always been used, can be used, and will always be used as the carrier of our culture and our secrets and our identity.
Well, what a long question. But fantastic exploration of the question also, even before I enter, because it's taken me into places perhaps that I wasn't anticipating. So now where I landed now is you speak about culture. Now, what is culture? Ne? So often when we talk about culture, there's a tendency to confuse it with tradition. And tradition has to do with long-standing practices, almost principles that we hold that we are reluctant to change. So culture has to do with the everyday, right? When I brush my teeth every day, it's my culture. So now culture chops and changes. It's something that is subject to alteration. So culture doesn't stay in one place. Fanon has a fantastic phrase for that. He says the zone of occult instability. Occult is a very great word because it sends us into a place where things are almost
normal,
loose and cannot be contained, right? Mystery, space of mystery. But now when he says the zone of occult instability, he really means that, we need to understand the dynamism of cultural expression in the sense that every day when I'm sitting with you now as we talk, we are creating a new culture of conversation. Back in the day, it would be me and you under a tree, breaking the cola nut, or maybe banning something fantastic, right? And then discussing and really exploring worlds. So now and we've created a different culture. We know we are not sitting under a tree. We're sitting under these artificial lights, and still, bringing the light that we must bring into this artificial space, if you follow what I'm saying. So culture then evolves. It's in this zone of occult instability, and Fanon would like to link cultures to the struggles of the people that are alive on the day. When he forged this term, it was during the upheavals, of course, that were in the continent against the colonial order, that, we all wanted to disrupt the colonial order. We wanted it off our back. We wanted, so that then the cultures that were created then, some of it included a certain militancy, right? So that I'll give you an example. There's an old man I visited, Gogolenseria. His name is Sadek Variava. and he talks about guerrilla theater, and just talk about, arts and how they function, and then how guerrilla theater, for me, when you look at it, we began by talking about how rituals inform
Our psyche.
our dramatic traditions, right? So now look at this. When you look at guerrilla theater as a form that was practiced in the 70s, it shares the same anatomy with ritual drama. Because the first thing is that it's about a system of change. We need to disrupt something. We need to get rid of something that we don't want. So we're going to drum, we're going to hoy up these incantations and so forth and so forth. Now, guerrilla theater now is a form where, for instance, 5 guys would say, okay, now, you know what? Let's stand at different points at the bus stop. And we get into the bus. This is the 70s. And one of them starts a conversation. Man, this country is skak, basically.
Yeah.
And we start debating. And then another one is sitting there. But nobody knows that these people are actors.
Together. Yeah.
But by the time they leave the bus,
The
the bus is
conversation.
boiling.
Yeah.
So you phrase people's vibrations. So those are some of the things. But now when you look at that form, it's a theater that can be performed anywhere. It's not theater, the
That is
popcorn
confined on
and then
stage,
opening nights. It's open theater. Pico calls it open theater during the trial when he was standing for those guys that were trial for the scripts that they created, right, I think from 1973 to 1976. So Pico then says this is an open theater that we are doing. It's not theater, as I've said, opening nights, and it's about people acting themselves. So now here we come from, a place where we've always revised our culture. So whenever people speak about culture and Africa, they tend to get locked into this idea that, African culture has to do with being in a village.
Okay.
But, it evolves. It has nothing to do with that. Our cultures, if you think about it, even in terms of world culture, people have this tendency that when you say Africa, you're looking backwards.
Yeah.
But, the point is that you look at the hip hop as a form that has infected world music. Where does it come from? Its roots are in our incantations. The idea of speaking sound, speaking over sound comes from the sangoma. Right? So these things are in our DNA.
It's
so
who
when
we
you
are.
are reciting, talking to this medicine, it's something that is ancient that people cannot take away from us. Hip hop gets that stuff from us. When you look at the first hip hop kids, Africa Bambata, Queen Latifah, that satiric practices had to do with Africa. Their dresses, they were trying to look back into the continent, right?
Content.
Before that, who are their fathers? The last poets, the Amiri Barakas, right? They were drawing on the continental wisdom of the drum and the sound and the spoken word over the drum. So these are things that have
as poets.
Yes, absolutely. So you see, when we say African culture, people think,
tend to think it's something that's locked back in the...
We are going into some village. But it's here and it's us. And we are the ones, as I said, at the forefront of rhythm. We are the ones who actually are creating modernity. But we need to understand that, If we understood that, it would work
far.
better for us.
I ask a question sometimes, Ngiti. There's this movement. And it's good that a lot of us Africans, Bantu, are coming to an awareness of no.
Yeah.
Let's trace who we are. But then we tend to fall into that box of they stole. Yes, certain things were taken from us. Yes, it's true. But who they stole. No, apartheid is because of apartheid, this is why. No, it's because of slavery, this is why. No, it's because of colonialism, this is why. What is our responsibility?
Yeah, but you see, also to steal something you also have to have a certain intelligence that allows you to steal. There are things that are bigger than you.
Okay.
That I think, given the white world, cannot be able to get, man. They've attempted. Credo said it, nothing, dies forever. This thing is bigger than them. They can't steal it. If you look at Christianity, for instance, as an attempt to steal a mystery system, it's also very much surface stuff, because things that are metaphoric are taken literally. So now it's it's a corrupted version of something grander that comes from our mystery system. So I'm not intimidated by people who steal without knowledge.
This is why for us now to be saying...
Because sometimes they think they've taken from us, white people, but they've taken nothing.
They've taken nothing.
This thing is much bigger. And this is what I've been saying from the beginning. This is much bigger than... So we need to transcend the victimhood. And that is my problem, you see.
Cheers
victimhood.
To that.
Uthak. What?
Because izophela nini le victimhood. No, they stole this. No, they stole that. No, they stole... No apartheid this. No slavery this. No colonial... What is our responsibility?
Me and you are flowing without release now. What have they taken?
Okay.
We are drawing from a source that is, far. I mean, we are not inhabited by anything, but the knowledge flows freely. Right, we don't need a book. Let me tell you a story. Lififi is my hero. He tells a very fantastic story. Sometimes,
okay.
He comes into Sweden, right, in the 80s after he gets into exile. And then one day he witnesses this performance at Ingamla in a public space. Open theater. So by his hammer, so badlala orchestra. Now, I can write it in Gamla Diabala. Sharp, I started. Tsuki. But Sikinya di Tlahona Narba Fila di Venena. A hotlake pay for that. It is scripted, it's a
script gone.
Music you are. See? First time. So now, Ronada de Rona, it's a my affair. So now, let's understand our genius. Darbuaka music, music king. As we talk now, reflow. There's a certain musicality that comes with just the idea of speaking. And this is an awareness that we come with. They're not far, my brother. Sometimes, like we need to just, as I've said, that this thing about the equality is this thing that is limiting us.
This victim mentality.
Yeah, we are looking for equality. We need to know our value. Let's not look for equality. Let's look
because
for
if you knew your value, you wouldn't want to be equal.
No, not at all. Not
no,
at all. So let's
keep. No more equality. Know your value. Yeah, and then your visit ngapha wena ngapha mina.
As a belief. As a belief, done now, Jack.
Because if you knew your value, and this is where our personal poetry comes from. Ukuthi mina ngukatsheni undlovu uboya benyati uyasomba. This is mina ngubani. Now there is ego. Uyangazi mina. Yena sekasi wonke umuntu uyangazi. Mina nasekhaya bangazi ngahlula nasejele mina. That's your ego now talking.
Yeah.
But now mozothi mina nguzulu ngumageba mina ngundlovu ngukatsheni mina. That's not an ego. Now this is you exalting that which you are, not that which you have conceived yourself to be. Because there's this image you see in the mirror. You go to the mirror and expect to see something else. And everybody does this. When they go to the mirror, you are expecting to see someone else. And if you try and fix your face, you disfigure yourself, you make up a little there, you make up a little there, until lo muntu afike umbona nangu ngimfunayo, and then uhamba naye. Now, this is the thing about the man in the mirror, the person in the mirror. Wena uhamba naye because umbone esipilini, everybody else estradeni akamboni. This is why you find ninkonele bosisi. Omunye ngathi uthathe ibhaketi ye powder. Wathi bese wathi red lips waphumela ngaphandle. Muthi wena ngathi isidumbuke wena manje you look pale like you're a corpse. Ubona uthi mar. So that person she was looking at in the mirror, in her eyes, because it's so disattached from who I am, this is what I want to show the world. And then the world sees you, ababoni lento wena oyibona esipilini. Babona ukuthi unenkinga ke lo. Yini akakwazi ukufaka i-makeup or what's wrong with this person? So we have this thing yokuthi men in the mirror. Hence your AKAs. Hayi mina nguthabang Sefade, AKA black job, AKA helicopter on the building, AKA, and none of these AKAs have anything to do with who you are. These are the whats you are. Mina, when I was coming up in my spirituality, I started off as a Rasta man, you know? And then you find in the Rasta, now omunye uzbiza uJack Congo apple, omunye uzbiza palm tree nectar, omunye uzbiza son of David Jack guide, omunye uzbiza. And this is the problem, I mean. Mauzo yokokota kibo. Sanibonani bantu abadala bengicela uJack Congo Kingdom. But yini leyo?
Yeah.
Hayi uJaman, ayasina Jaman thina la ekhaya.
Yeah.
Hayi man uRasta uthe uhlala la.
Yeah, abamthe.
Asmazi. Uzweke ifamily umama wakho uba athi wethabang. Avele kuJaman wakho ke. Wethabang. Uwe kanti lo uJack Congo Apple Kingdom. Now, are you going to say now we are Muslim? Because this is the man in the mirror now. This Jack Congo Apple Congo Kingdom is the man in the mirror that you want everybody outside to see. It's not you. Amapantsula nabo banjalo kunabo skrufu abo spichomsi abo spanela abo ngena livuli ngena kuvaliwe abo jump ama counter. These are AKAs. This is the man in the mirror. This is why noma ufaka ispoti sakho uzoma lapha espini namhlanje ngibangena so. Nokupose lugwayi mobhema ugwayi uma lapha espini. Ngizobamba so. When do we start to live who we are now?
Very interesting, because for me, as you talk now, it tells me something about what we are or who we are or whatever. As humanity, we perform a lot.
We are performers.
Yeah, we perform various
The world is but a stage.
Yeah, sometimes you become another Ras Congo, what. And then sometimes you are Tabang.
Yeah.
And sometimes as Tabang, the same person, evolves. You see, when you're with your parents, even the language changes. What kills me, what's interesting about Rasta as you talk, I've wondered about one thing, the formality of it all. It's supposed to be a language of resistance, but I don't understand. Greetings, it's so British. Ahoy, are you a sailor? So now let's leave that. I'm not like Kimachitaka. So
Ayanai. It's Nani Ayanai. Is he me?
No, I'm just saying.
Nani Ayanai. Is he me?
No, Kacho. So now I've wondered about this thing. Kermar chance man. Are you checking credit? Didn't you know? Because now, for now, I understand already. Okay, it's what I did. Yeah, Burasta. What is the temptation? And Grot money engeles is saying, and never keep anyway.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Then it totally come ala khaserli Grot. Marek is a much. So none gets a work anyway.
Yeah, man.
So, but Panuela gave me a lot of stuff because Neshala Kokumrawa Kojalim.
Yeah, man.
Neli Grotman is also a lot of material. So and then along my journey then I meet a guy Bareki Walter Rodney. And it's a very interesting conversation, Leborasta, in that book called Groundings with My Brothers. Walter Rodney was go university, go Jamaica. So, but he felt as an academic, he's not closed from getting knowledge from
outside.
So Naplomali Leborasta. But then he began to say, but now guys, let's revise a few things. I know that you have the Selassie thing going on, but to what extent does this, serve, our vision of resistance? To what extent does this religiosity assist us, so that then he was looking at the limits of, drawing on these king type of figures. Because for now also, I mean, as a person who makes art, I take it to symbology. What do symbols mean when we say a lion? What do we mean? Lion of Judah. So now it's a similar image that you find Lion King, whether the play or the movie. What is that all about? And when you look at that life here, the Lion King itself, it presents a contained world where only the lion can become king. Yeah. And I have a problem with that. And I think I would love to see other animals having their share of one. And I'm disturbed by the idea of a lion's share. I think it's a greedy idea.
In fact, it's in language, it's in colloquial language.
So you realize
the biggest portion.
Yes, and then you realize how much then when we speak about language, Borasta, the extent to which it can get drawn into politics of power and not speak about things that are on the ground. And for me, that has disturbed me. Also, even the way that we remember our history as Africans. We like kings, we like king this, king that, king that. But then when we only remember history in terms of kings, what we are doing is to then make the people who actually make history disappear. Because the kings are served. The kings really are figureheads. So maybe we need a much more radical way of remembering the past, because then we end up losing grounds.
Your one problem with this whole thing is that no, Nyaizwa, yes, it's revolutionary, black man and African, but this king worship, hey.
Yeah, you see, what I'm asking for is the kind of history or the kind of sensibilities that draw from below. You get what I mean? Where no one is above anyone. Because I also want to question this thing, Yadi Kingdom. How did someone become a king? And somewhere in my knowledge system, I find that it disturbs me profoundly.
Yazi lo muntu manje
that we don't
introduce ke
question.
ngithe His Royal Highness. Nangu ke manje uzo dispute kingship. Like
No, it's important because, look, I think for me, I like the idea of being an artist because it allows me to face myself,
Yeah, man.
and to question the thing. Because
what is so royal about me that is not
the
in anyone
ultimate
else?
freedom. Huh?
Uguti, what is so royal about me that is lacking in everybody else?
Yeah, because look, and I mean, if people want to be royal, they're welcome. I just think that I want to us to look at the past perhaps differently, because I realize that even when we look at the continent, contemporary politics, this is where the rain beats us, because then we have, I'll just rattle a few names. For instance, I'll say Jomo Kenyatta, and you all, wow, history of Africa. I'll say Mandela, and you say, wow. I'll say Nkrumah. But then, if we start investigating this, these heroes that are above, and how these heroes are made, we might come up with a slightly different narratives. Perhaps we should have invested our trust in
the unknowns,
in drawing stories from people on the ground. Because now, when we start to investigate the nature of the post-colony, or what we call the neo... the neo-colony. So now we begin to study this character of a king, the character of a president, and we start seeing something profoundly disturbing, right? And that is why I want to caution against this history that celebrates kings, this history that celebrates so-called men in power, great figures in history, and we forget who carried these people.
I like saying, beware the fool with funding.
Yes, funding. Yeah, the matter.
Be careful of the funded fool.
And the Raibata. But it's troublesome, that thing.
Thing is, a fool with a lot of money in his pocket can say anything and buy anyone to believe what they say.
Yeah, you see, you are right, because, when you think about power and politics and how...
and I'm not speaking about today's politics. When I'm saying a fool with a lot of money in his pocket, don't misinterpret me.
Why not?
I'm apolitical. I'm non-partisan. I don't participate in politics. I don't know who even the president is. Who is the president?
Yeah, you see, I didn't say the president, because like we put some, what are these things? The president. No, honestly, because if you look at the president, man, I don't know, just the few that we've had, and you've won.
Yeah, we've had. Honestly, we haven't had a pleasant experience.
Yeah. Look, I think it's like a lady king, the president, and that is where we are missing it, because these are people that sometimes these narratives are created from without. Let's just take an example. And then Katsebore, Lamnganyo Mandela, Marhati. So now in the 80s, I'm reading a newspaper, Bariki City Press, 1984 I did. Now, as I'm reading this newspaper, Bariki City Press, I knew that at that time you are not supposed to have picture of Mandela anyway. right? Because then it was sacrilegious. You're going to be in trouble. But then here's a picture of an impression of an artist saying, this is what Mandela could possibly look like. Now, and now, as a young man, these things didn't puzzle me, because I began to wonder why now are we imagining what Mandela looks like. And why I was wondering, it's because I thought we were fighting for the land and for freedom, ya rona kaofela. But then from that moment on, I began to notice that the narrative is about releasing Mandela. And indeed, 94 Haeta, because that story was played so much, you need to take the power of story. When Mandela was released,
it felt
we
like
also
a victory.
released our own sense of
It felt like
caution. We lost this idea that we are at war. And we forgot completely because we were sold a perfect story with a fantastic soundtrack. Yeah, you must again. Bring back Nelson Mandela, want to see whatever. When another one go Cape Town, that song plays in your head.
Well-funded production. It went all over the world.
All these things, Sarafina because sometimes man Sarafina. Listen to those lyrics and I where is the revolution there?
Okay.
Listen. Sarafina, your body temperature begin to rise. Sarafina, oh, give your junior sister the chocolate. Sarafi. So that's supposed to be revolutionary. I don't know. Mararitin dem bongeni. Ke Grootman nekre.
Artist.
Yeah, the Grootman is
entertaining.
No, maraker kya cho na ra di. Khale re nganda di entertainer and then out here entertain and then re batawe fagara sorry it's a
idolize
authority ya di khute la re bona ke khashinyana. because it's already award. And I get that into Chinakhala Mujale, the Hashu, the Tsara di award. And then because it's a award, it's under No, go fair. I will check the Atzaro, I'm fetching Barpaisi Samachitana, Barpaisi Sekatsona, the award it's from Bokani, by Sadero, Nada, I Baritesha, so because the Ronar Ratadi award. No, I mean, check I did award Mase, because what's this one? Check I. Aren't but I go the movie because I think that's what I the movie. Theater, so I want to get into an example of a popular movie and never gets OT.
Yeah.
And I didn't know now. Yeah, the Ronagar Tabi, hey, the parade strategy.
Yeah.
Mari, a check I movie.
Decent.
Yeah, and then Kito Butsaretsa guy. And then before Kibweda Kotsotsi, I want now to go to 1964. And 1964, Nona Lauchengo Barke Jami Ace. Jami Ace Barke, the father of apartheid cinema. Ne? Jami Ace takes a play by Betha Ignos, Barke Dingaka. He puts it on screen. And then it becomes a popular movie in the Ken Kampudas. So now the opening scene here, right in here, it's supposed to be an authentic native scene, right? According to this white man. So now, Bachaiva Marvalo and Afustan of Etzahalanka Mokidi Trap. But it's a racker once a village of it's in Martin Gamnan and the Chandis. So now. And in the middle of this thing now, that's the opening scene. I can get drama. Hey man, now someone has eaten someone's heart. It's a child's heart. Okidi twins, and then this character that is played by Ken Gambu. This character Ken Gambu now disturbed because now Bajile pelo ya ngwana gagwe. But now he realizes, or no, the guy who messed him up, ke ngaka ena e tshwere village. Wa bona le dingaka ne di portraywa jwang.
Eish.
Ngaka now is running this village, ne? And then everybody's afraid of this ngaka. And this guy decides, hey, I'm going to Johannesburg. When he comes to Johannesburg, the major act that happens is that he meets a good white man. I want to reckon. So
he's disturbed by his traditional leader.
Yeah, Utsara.
Makai. He comes to Joburg and meets a good white man.
Yeah.
All right.
And the good white man says, what is your problem?
Let me help you.
Yeah, like a good white man. And then he helps him. And then, well, we found out, village. Now I'm looking at the South African archives in Pretoria. I used to study film, so they can all check it. Hey, though, out here, I tell ngaka e bona ngamla no tshentse tshwere village first sight ya ngamla ngaka e ja
ya tatazela
tatazela e ja fatse this guy ntse tshwere botaki ba ka just the sight ya ngamla ngamla is so we forgot ya tlhaga e ja fa a go so we will re wentseng ngoba e ja fatse to a point that he falls over a cliff and he dies and then now peace is restored. Kingdom. So, this is the story that was popular in the 60s. Now, let's go forward and then come back to what you call the new dispensation. Kiona, New South Africa. Rekotso hutiano, kerko chaitse ka done e shapide ki dia watse. And e ratava. Popular e by parade raso. But now, how we label, it's the same story, different characters, and how so. Look at that story closely. This guy, no one can catch him from the beginning. He's a bad mother, man. And you are convinced, but what happens in the last frame? A white man appears, and he says, stop.
Yeah.
And the man stops. The optics are disturbing. You get what I mean? And it's today, and we are celebrating this thing. Your ministers, Bopalo Jordan, never was Lemo, Bashapadi Makwarela, Marisora.
Had it been a black man, he would have went on with the crime.
Yeah, but now, so this is what these guys are telling us. Power getting up. Another story. Baraki yesterday. Now look at that story. You must look at the way, films are very interesting. How do you label the kind of cinematography that they use is of these landscapes that are unoccupied. That's the story that they're telling. There's nothing here. And then Didi paintings that they're similar. You look at these landscapes that are unoccupied. They are the only people who
develop that place.
So this yesterday, it's built with a similar kind of cinematography. But now when you look at it, and then this movie is made at a time at which but then you look at the film that is made now, very recently, there's only one person who's not sick. It's this white woman who's a doctor. The optics are disturbing again. And this is now they celebrate the and then because why? They're limited. They shouldn't be disturbed, man. They're just limited. They must come to us, River Route. I get why, but what he didn't say now. Like, that's why Lififi tells a very powerful story. So, one day, Bafita ko Sweden, machitadi artist in South Africa. How fitara so Lififi ar ki ba cheka ke Lififi ploma ko Stockholm. Ar ki ba cheka or ba tla kae. Santsa le raso ba utore man. Somebody or Lififi ne man. Hona le minister wa o bitsa raso are o tle ka raso le fifa wa itse ke mba fetse man ke kopa le chaile minister a to bona superstar
Uyamazi?
ofustana
Yeah, uminister akasuke lapha azekile.
yeah and
Yeah.
alright because how chebella di outitse ba reng ke di minister tsa ritse ke di khomo tsa
Eish.
ke di khoma di fustane fokole go fetsa o kena engwe no ha o fustane re ke sports fan o re no go chala var and ke bua o tor mfetsi a ke bua ntho le re ka exaggerate ke bone di
It's there. It's public knowledge.
ene go chala ntho ke bona now check ke mame ke bona ka re ke o tsena leng DSTV channel e spana mara I bua ka di arts sizi ha bana
Eish.
ba le bitso la ge ke good enough I wonder I wonder if it's good enough for this thing ya di arts me bra gona la utsitse batho ba slim go di artseng and then o tisa khomo ya tshwana le ke problem man wa bona khopotsa ndadeng ya ko Royal AM Mr Chairman apparat number 10 wa bona AC re ra le ke do bona o fustana raga o bona khomo ya per number 10
Eish.
so ke nthe re bonang ko di artseng di khomo tse baya di apara number 10
Eish.
wa fustana
But in everything, in education, in the arts, in leadership, in business, yonkinda.
yeah no ke yona
That's, I think, upeke nesikolo. Suddenly, when I was still at school, the pass mark used to be 50%, below 50% to failing. And then somehow they kicked it down to 45%. So, manket iskolo mina, pass mark was 45%. Manje ngizoba is 23, 25.
Is it
Or
30?
yini, 13% or what?
30
30. Cabanga ke. Uthuma umntwana a cup of water. Mntwanam, thatha na ijug, hoza namanzi. Umntwana ubuya with 30% of that water.
yeah I think it's very clear point ya ga no because I mean and I'm glad that this is 30%. This is how much education we are prepared to give. And yeah, look, and it's supposed to be fine and stuff like that. But also, we need to think about your education. I'm not going to mention their names. I have two friends. One of them, it's exile. That's why it's exile. Mare ke o grande. So so and then one of them ke engwe e kelezitsa bona ke tsetsa di doctor. Yeah, Shasingam, se grote plan, dobo. So one day re shapa trip ida re machita. And then there's an argument that ensues there. And then they end up somehow, I don't know how they got into Das Kapital, these guys. So, because there was a time when we thought Das Kapital is where the answer, how blind we were.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's come back. I'm a communist. Anyway, so so now these two guys ba argue wakadidenye. So Brafafa o isakitse nka se buka se mabitsi mara engwe nka se le reng o renga ka sezulu wa bona Brafafa hey o kena ka sezulu wa bona. Now this guy is trapped now. Brafafa re ko yena e mona okay sharp ka uka ka o motswana ka ya ke motswana so na ke utla Setswana so cooperate so na Das Kapital ke keletse ko exile under a tree wa bona ene ka sezulu wa bona so ke cooperate ke tla bua Sotho na bua Setswana. Now there was a problem with e keletsitsenye I khono now
Articulate.
umata
Hey.
yeah I khono umata ka mother tongue
Hey.
istaki So now ke eng go rutega? O amfostana
Ngicela
because
uphinde
now
leyo question.
ke eng go rutega because ha o kgone go nka ntho we translate into something that someone
Mongakwazi
else.
ukuyibiza ngolwakho ulwimi lwakini.
Yeah, then
Usho njani ukuthi ufundile?
yeah, that's why but then banali to say it's about our le bone ba tshela ka di ontology, epistemology.
I still call score.
About to say it's and that these are simple words if you break them down. So arisa tsenara with the ontology. Because yo na ke na duletse tsona na duletse di ontology. So they are mutabula the ontology because now didn't tsare khono di tlhalosa and re feletsa re bata go tshosetsana. But na ke nagana ra re bua ka sophistication. Ra re bua ka sophistication now tsaka ke motho le re khona o switch ba.
Okay.
Yeah, ha ke fitla ke na le makoko a ge mama le kae teng ha ke kopana le wena exeme ne ke sa ane potse tax le pasok ni o ge pot ni je festan so raswi and then like ke na mo classeng genga di shapa di ontology tseo because ke space sa teng so ntho
isebenza lapho
e be le space sa teng ka se re ke na le machita no go strateng ka starta ka kena di ontology di kena kae understand that's why tshwantse re be easy nyana but then because now ontology nga khono e tlhalosa le ka sprakate so and then ke ona rating for me ha ke re rutegile nka ntheo o khone gore o ise go batho o sa fitha mo batho o ba confuse now ka di term more term ba re ba botsa nene je ken focal mela je ken di ontology di no na le term re di ntwana ba re heterodoxy ra di ke na re bona isa ka batho tsheng ba ke ba roba ba re monde gona ka mo Jose nna le ndago ba re kiss o kena ra kiss ke di night o shapa di heterodoxy ya ra majita kwata because aba first is di heterodoxy o bondita bola isa ka batho so but the point is that man arenking that's arere you see I like where we began what the mother represents. Ka Setswana go na le thuto ya letsele which is the knowledge that
of the breast.
Get from the breast, right? And I think Zulu Matabo Lene speaks about it kasut, which is the same thing. Thuto ya letsele, but like we le bakhatla basotho, you know, same people. So now how e lebella ntwe ya thuto ya letsele ne ke thuto ya tlhago right now akere ke thuto e tswa mo go rona wa bona re ka isa go dilenya letswalo wa bona ka mogotsetsweng ka teng so ka sekgowa bana le gore ke intuition right intuition that is already inside so re batho bao ba le gore re retsa letswalo and then letswalo ke lona le re guidang and you have spoken earlier le kontle about this resource ya tongo where we constantly draw from, you know, from our dreams. Like Credo Abua, our dreams notice that we notice them. So as we pay more attention to the things that we dream, things that we imagine, they reveal them more knowledge to us. So Kerona Bao, knowledge yarona hare pateletse man. Kia rona and refilwe ka tlhago if re sa kgone go itlhalosa ka mafoko a le re ke a rona ne
it's not ours
then re mathateng because then a re kgone inkarise ke yona sophistication.
This is the problem ke mina engibanayo ukuthi you talk and you have intelligent conversations with people and then suddenly kuba ne abrupt stop moti ngiyayizwa leyo concept but oyikhulume ngesikini. What is it in your language? And how do your people view it? And then maybe we can go on ke ngale debate yethu or ngale discussion yethu if we both have an indigenous, and I'm going to use the word indigenous, if we both have an indigenous understanding of what we are dealing with. Like, I'm going to make an example ngani. Intando yeningi. Intando yeningi is said to mean democracy. But now, abantu abaningi bathanda masi. Baningi abantu abathanda masi. Is that democratic? Bantu abaningi bathanda inyama enkomo. Abaningi abayithanda inyama embuzi. Abaningi bathanda icoke. Abaningi abathanda iFanta. So, where does the term and the reality democracy apply to the words intando yeningi? Because now, if we're going to view things outside ourselves, we get lost in a confusion somewhere along the line. Inkolo and religion and faith, Nkulunkulu, God, certain things. How now do we, as artists, how do we, as artists, bring back the consciousness of the people?
I'm going to tell you a story. Ne? Yes, Joanna. The sun and the wind. Ne? Letsatsi le phefo. Diabakisana. Who is more powerful than the other? And then, as they're arguing about who's more powerful, and then the sun, the wind says, I'll show you first. Ne? A man appears, who appear jacket. Ne? This man had a jacket, the wind or no, okay, now because I'm more powerful, I'm gonna make that man take off his jacket. The wind starts blowing hard and cold. As it blows, the man holds on to his jacket. And it blows stronger and stronger, the man. Why button I be there? So then the sun says, okay, it's my turn. The sun shines brighter. It gets hotter. The man takes off his jacket. So we can only shine our light, my brother.
Ish.
We can't force people to take off their jackets. So perhaps as we shine our light and the vibrations
will also allow them to shine as well.
That when as we generate warmth, they will take off their jackets. The jackets of colonialism will drop. So our role is to really
to shine our
own like we've been doing now, corner. Celebrating ourselves, celebrating the intelligence of the continent. Our children will hear us, my brother. This conversation is forever. We will always be like the sun. Credos play, and reads there's a song. Maegumnanguba zinganzelanga. Maegumnanguba zinganzelanga. Maegumnandi. So we must appreciate that power that we have because we are people of light and we must never doubt it.
I'm going to put you on the spot now.
Yeah.
Going towards our closing. We are children of the sun. That's the title of the poem. Isithini istanza sakho sokuqala? We are children of the sun.
Why do you want to put me on the spot?
We are already on the spot.
Because the spot is a hot place. I'm afraid of the spot. But I mean, just thinking about, and I know where you want us to go. You want us to go to a place where we can flow. So now, and I'm thinking also today, Sharpeville Day. And I'm thinking, what is the title of this ritual? Unpopular opinion. Right? And this is the thing that we've been doing, right? We've been trying to explore things outside the normal containers. And this is the language that is often feared, right? And ki bitsa pente because
Yeah.
so but now you are a person of ritual. And wa itse gore ritual ha ina audience. So you're gonna flow with me. It's simple. Re ba bone ba tshaba pente le rabele o ba pente. We can all go. Re ba bone ba tshaba pente le rabele o ba pente. Kaofela re ba bone ba tshaba pente le rabele o ba pente. Re ba bone ba tshaba pente le rabele o ba pente. Re ba bone ba tshaba pente le rabele o ba pente. Re ba bone ba tshaba pente le ba pente.
That's a pente.
Re ba bone ba tshaba pente
Le rabele o bapte.
Re ba
Bone bataba pente. Le rabele o bapente. Re babone bataba pente. Le rabele o bapente.
Aba re ponokela o ba pente le aba ka boko ra sampola ka pente tshasa re pente le di prente tsa bophoko bjele bophiri o pente ba suputsana ka dithetsa o pente ba re bontja le bogola fela o pente le kgaba ka meno le dinala o pente go lwela borena o ba pente kgotsa go shota ya rente kante ke talente go setšha di-wallet tsa go romente founa matsa mabelete di rokiwa ka masente selo se dutla ditete o se pente ka disutu di thotsela o di pente di rometswe di otsela o di pente di puku di re lukura o di pente ke leitlho la mapentagone le pente mogale ba thipa ya marikana ke re e pente e kgaotse moroka leleme e pente tsa matla ka dibe ke re pula o di pente re ba bone ba tshaba pente le rabele o ba pente
Re babone bataba pente. Le rabele o bapente. Re babone bataba pente. Le rabele o bapente.
ke re ditlhatse di thunya re sa bone o re penta ke morogano go gana go gosha ka pente re ralala marumo re pente re le wete le fatshe re le gwantela sacramente se bankgela o ba penteng ko di tlhomile tente ba re tutsa ka di testamente le agente di lela ke re o di pente ba ile batho ka di fentere ba fudugile ka di fenstere le dipoti tota ba tsere o pente di setse ka di tletse ka di office go setse di kirivai tlhogo bokete kgotsa di rwele samente di batla re di kgorometse o pente di kirivai tsa di bona di sute mo tseleng o pente o bona o batla re phusha di kirivai tse tletseng ka di office
Ay, so bapente.
99
It's your bapente. Yeah. So bapente.
Mal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Abapente kabantu. To all our viewers, Nizwil.
Sure.
You heard it first on the couch. Obapente. We give thanks to our brother here. Again, His Royal Highness. Ukhabu, siyabonga kakhulu. Mokhatli. And I hope We can look at art from a different perspective after today. We can look at art for what it is and the power that it holds. And asien phambili singabantu ribapende.
Arba painting.
Give thanks.
Awing.